If you have ever taken a weekend off or gone on vacation and still felt exhausted, I want you to know something. You, you're not doing resting wrong, and you're not broken either. Burnout isn't something that disappears just because you stop working. That's the biggest misconception. And for many high achievers, resting can actually feel very, very uncomfortable. Let's talk about why. And hi, my name is Dr. Erika Mateus, and I'm a clinical social worker and the author of The Winning Mentality. I have worked with so many professionals and so many people who tell me the same thing. I finally took time off and I couldn't relax. Is that familiar to you? I have other people that have said, I had the weekend free and I felt restless. I couldn't watch the movie with my kids. Or I went on vacation and came back just as tired. Is that you? And what usually follows is a little bit of shame, that uncomfortable feeling. People are saying that they should feel grateful, that they should feel refreshed, and why they can just switch off. But let me tell you, here is the truth. Burnout is not physical tiredness alone, and that's the problem. It is a nervous system exhaustion from living in constant pressure. And we do it to ourselves. Nobody else is doing it to us. Your nervous system is designed for rhythm, activation, and then recovery, as I explained in my previous video. Effort, then settling. Focus, then rest. Up and down, up and down. But when you live in performance mode for months or even years, the rhythm disappears because you're constantly up, 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 and never down. And it becomes like pressure equals responsibility, anticipation, self monitoring, over and over and over again, and never, never resting. And your system forgets how to truly power down. You know that, right? So when you finally try to rest, your body doesn't follow. In your mind, you want to rest, but the body is in constant go. You sit down, but your mind keeps scanning, keeps working, keeps thinking. You probably stop working, but you still feel braced. You take a day off, but you feel so behind that you can't even relax because resting isn't just physical. Resting, let me tell you, it requires safety. And if your nervous system has been living in survival mode day after day, stillness and quiet time doesn't feel safe. You know that? So for many high achievers, identity is tied to performance. You, you are the reliable one, the responsible one, the capable one. You are used to being needed. You're used to carrying things. You're used to be the one that knows. So when you slow down, there is a very subtle discomfort. Sometimes you can even describe what it is, but you're tired, right? So almost like something is missing because productivity became your baseline. You're constantly producing and making things work. And when the baseline disappears, your system doesn't know how to recalibrate. This is why vacation time can sometimes feel worse. This is why the weekend feels stressful. You remove the structure, you remove the deadlines, you remove the urgency, and suddenly there's a space. Like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do with all this free time? And it's a space for fatigue, a space for emotions, a space for thoughts that you've been postponing. And rest creates silence, and silence reveals what pressure has been covering. That's why we don't like resting. That's why for high achievers that are burnout, this feels bad. It means your system needs more than time off. That means that when you're recovering from burnout, it's not just about more rest or more vacation or more time off. It is about restoring capacity. It's about teaching your nervous system that it doesn't have to stay on alert constantly, that you are allowed to exist without producing. This is not a reflection of who you are. This is just the way you do things. that your worth is not measured by your output. And that shift is not automatic. It doesn't happen just like that. It requires intention. It requires work. So instead of asking, how do I relax better? I invite you to ask yourself, what pressure am I living under that I haven't questioned? What expectations have I normalized? What beliefs are keeping my system activated? Check your beliefs. Big beliefs are big. Sometimes it is, I can't fall behind, or I have to stay strong, or I can't disappoint anyone. If I slow down, everything falls apart. Those are kind of like the beliefs that we're looking for. So those beliefs keep the nervous system engaged, even when you're lying on the beach, or by the swimming pool, or taking the walk in the evening with your dogs. Now, real recovery begins when internal pressure decreases, when you give yourself permission to be imperfect. Imperfect, when you stop proving your worth by doing and doing even more. When you allow yourself to be human, not just capable of doing things. When rest becomes safe and not a threat. And that, my friend, takes practice. It's just with the small shifts, moments of pausing without immediately filling the space with something else to do. Moments of doing less without apologizing internally, if you follow me on what I'm saying. Moments of noticing guilt and not obeying it, just observing the emotion. Because burnout doesn't heal just because you escape work. It heals because your nervous system learns it doesn't have to brace anymore. Is that making sense? I hope it does. It took me a while to understand all this, but if rest hasn't worked for you, please hear this. Just follow this. You're not failing at recovery. Your system just needs more than time off. It needs to feel safe, so that means safety. It needs a belief change around productivity and self-worth. It needs spacing, and it needs compassion and love and kindness and all these other things. And it needs a new definition of success. So with this, in the next video, we're going to talk about how to stay ambitious without destroying yourself. Because ambition is not the enemy. It's not about not doing what you need to do and what you want to do. Pressure without regulation is your enemy. So if this resonated, stay with this series, because we are building something different here. We're building the real definition of success, and it is success without self-betrayal. Take a breath with me. You don't need to power down perfectly. You just need to begin creating safety where pressure used to live. I'll see you in the next episode.